Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2p coin of 1980. It is not merely a small copper-plated disc of currency. It is a bridge between tradition and modernity, monarchy and minting, rarity and value. This coin, unassuming to the casual eye, holds within it the power to fascinate collectors and historians alike, and in the modern market, it has elevated itself into the realm of treasure. To understand the significance of the Elizabeth II 2p coin of 1980, we must journey back into its context. The decimalisation of British currency had been introduced in 1971, marking one of the most dramatic changes in Britain's monetary history. For centuries, Britain had operated under a system where 12p made a shilling and 20 shillings made a pound. It was a system steeped in tradition but often confusing in practice. The push toward decimalisation simplified the currency into a more straightforward structure, aligning Britain with much of the modern world. As part of this overhaul, new coins had to be designed, minted, and put into circulation. Among these was the humble 2p coin. By 1980, nearly a decade after decimalisation, the 2p coin had already established itself as a staple of everyday commerce. But the year 1980 was no ordinary moment in British history. Britain was navigating its way through the final years of the 20th century's turbulent decades, with politics, economics, and culture all playing a role in shaping national identity. Margaret Thatcher had risen to power the year before, leading a government determined to transform Britain's economy and global presence. In the same period, the monarchy itself, headed by Queen Elizabeth II, remained a powerful and symbolic constant in a rapidly changing world. Every coin minted in those years, bearing her portrait, was a reminder of continuity amid change. The obverse of the 1982 pence coin proudly displayed the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, as designed by Arnold Mackin. This image, which first appeared in 1968, became one of the most iconic depictions of the Queen on British currency. Mackin's portrait shows Elizabeth II wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a piece of jewelry with deep royal significance, originally gifted to Queen Mary in the late 19th century and later passed down to Elizabeth. The portrait captured her elegance, youth, and timeless dignity, serving as both a national and personal symbol. For millions of Britons who handled these coins daily, this portrait was a familiar reassurance, a constant presence in the palm of their hands. On the reverse side of the coin, the design by Christopher Ironside celebrated the nation's heraldic legacy. It displayed the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, beneath which lay the motto Ich Dien, meaning, I serve. This emblem has deep roots in British history, symbolizing loyalty and service, and has been associated with the Princes of Wales for centuries. Its placement on the coin was a reminder of monarchy's endurance and of the young Prince Charles, who at the time was heir apparent to the throne. The inclusion of this badge on the 2p coin transformed a small piece of currency into an emblem of dynastic continuity and national pride. The coin itself was struck in bronze, composed of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin. This alloy gave the 2p its distinctive reddish-brown hue, one that would darken over time as the metal oxidized, creating a unique patina on each coin. The weight of the coin was 7.12 grams, with a diameter of 25.9 millimeters, making it one of the larger coins in circulation during that period. Its size and weight gave it a presence in the pocket, a tactile reminder of value. To hold one was to feel not just currency, but craftsmanship. Minting of the 1982 pence coin took place at the Royal Mint, one of the world's oldest and most respected institutions, with a history stretching back over 1,000 years. The Royal Mint's role was not simply to produce coins for everyday use, but to safeguard the integrity of Britain's currency system. Every strike of a 1982 pence was executed with precision, ensuring uniformity across millions of pieces. Yet, as with all minting processes, not every coin was identical. Small variations, errors, and rare misstrikes would sometimes emerge, creating extraordinary opportunities for collectors decades later. For the everyday Briton of 1980, the coin was nothing special. It purchased small items, a piece of candy, a portion of newspaper, or part of a bus fare. Yet time transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. As years passed and new designs replaced old, the 1982 pence began to take on new meaning. Collectors began to notice its particular qualities, including its survival rate, variations in condition, and the cultural context of its release. What had once been a common piece of change became a window into a specific moment in British history. Over the years, the 1982 pence became increasingly desirable in numismatic circles. The appeal was not just its age, but its symbolic importance. It stood at the crossroads of modern Britain, carrying the portrait of a monarch whose reign would become the longest in the nation's history, alongside heraldry that connected the monarchy's future through the Prince of Wales. Every detail, from its lettering to its patina, told a story. Collectors sought examples in pristine, uncirculated condition, where the coin retained its original brilliance, unblemished by circulation. Such specimens became prized possessions in collections around the world. Even rarer were those coins with minting errors, double strikes, off-center designs, or other anomalies that occurred during production. Such errors transformed ordinary coins into numismatic treasures, commanding incredible values at auctions. The combination of rarity, condition, and demand created a market where even a small bronze coin from 1980 could achieve astonishing worth. Stories began to circulate of 2-pence coins being sold for sums that seemed unimaginable for such a modest denomination. As decades passed, the allure of the 1982 pence only grew stronger. Numismatics thrives not only on rarity but also on narrative, and this coin carried with it the story of a pivotal era in British history. Queen Elizabeth II's reign, still ongoing at the time, provided a living link between past and present. Collectors around the world, from Britain to America, Europe to Asia, sought out this coin, not only for its intrinsic features but also for its symbolic resonance. To own a 1982 pence was to own a fragment of history, a piece of the monarchy, and a symbol of enduring craftsmanship. The demand for the coin pushed its value into extraordinary territory. In international auctions, specimens in flawless condition attracted fierce bidding wars. Collectors with deep pockets saw in the 1982 pence more than metal. They saw legacy, artistry, and investment. Each auction reinforced its reputation as one of the most extraordinary coins of the Elizabethan era. What was once worth just 2 pennies had now transformed into a treasure commanding millions. This transformation from common currency to prized collectible is one of the most remarkable journeys in modern numismatics. It demonstrates the power of history, rarity, and symbolism to elevate a coin far beyond its face value. It reminds us that in the smallest objects we can find the greatest stories. For those who cherish the art of coin collecting, the 1982 pence is more than a coin. It is a jewel of history, a testament to the enduring allure of numismatics. Today, the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence of 1980 stands as one of the crown jewels of coin collecting. Its presence in the numismatic market is nothing short of legendary. Collectors who are fortunate enough to own one treasure it not only for its beauty but also for the prestige it confers. And for those who dream of one day finding such a coin in their possession, it represents the ultimate prize. The world of coins is one of discovery, patience, and passion. It is a world where the ordinary can become extraordinary, where a coin minted for everyday use can rise to the status of a multimillion-dollar treasure. The story of the 1982 pence coin embodies this truth with perfect clarity. It is a reminder that history often hides in plain sight, waiting to be uncovered by those with eyes to see and hearts to appreciate. Top 2. The Elizabeth II 2 pence of 1996. At first glance, it may appear to be just another ordinary coin that once passed through the hands of millions in everyday transactions. But as with so many treasures in the world of rare coins, the truth lies beneath the surface, in the details of its history, its creation, and the fascinating journey that has elevated it from an everyday object to a prized possession worth a fortune today. The year 1996 was not particularly extraordinary in terms of Britain's coinage. Yet it was a year that sat at an important moment in the modern history of the monarchy and the nation. Queen Elizabeth II, by then already the longest-serving monarch in British history since Queen Victoria, had established her image firmly on the coinage of the United Kingdom. Coins bearing her portrait had circulated for decades, and the humble 2-pence coin was one of the most widely used in daily life. Introduced in 1971 as part of the decimalization of British currency, the 2-pence coin had become a staple of the pockets and purses of millions of people. By 1996, however, it was no longer just a small copper-colored piece of change. To collectors, each year of minting carried subtle differences, and for those with sharp eyes and patient hearts, treasures were waiting to be found. The Elizabeth II 2-pence coin of 1996 carries with it the standard reverse design that had become iconic since decimalization. The coin is struck in bronze, and its diameter measures 25.9 millimeters, with a weight of 7.12 grams, a solid piece of metal that feels surprisingly significant in the hand for its small value. The reverse design, created by Christopher Ironside, features the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encased in a coronet. Below this, the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve, is displayed on a ribbon. The design itself is not only striking in its elegance but also deeply symbolic of British heritage. The Prince of Wales's badge connects the coin directly to the monarchy, reinforcing the deep connection between British coins and the royal family's legacy. For many, it is a small detail overlooked in daily use, but for collectors, it is a piece of art tied to centuries of tradition. On the obverse side, of course, is the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklauf. By the mid-1990s, this portrait had already become familiar to the people of Britain and the wider Commonwealth. Maklauf's design presented a regal and dignified monarch, crowned with the royal diadem, capturing both her authority and her timeless grace. Unlike earlier portraits, which had shown the Queen in younger years, the Maklauf portrait displayed her in maturity, conveying stability and continuity in a rapidly changing world. For many collectors, this portrait has a special resonance, as it reflects the Queen during the 1980s and 1990s, decades of immense transformation for Britain, both politically and culturally. The minting of the 1996 2-pence coin took place at the Royal Mint, which by then had moved from its historic site at Tower Hill in London to Llantrisant in South Wales. The Royal Mint, with its centuries of history, has always been a symbol of precision and quality. Each coin struck in 1996 was a product of meticulous craftsmanship, from the engraving of the dies to the final pressing of bronze blanks into finished coins. But as with all minting processes, imperfections, variations, and rare anomalies sometimes occurred. And it is these anomalies, whether slight misstrikes, off-center designs, or rare compositions, that create the foundation for numismatic treasures. Collectors of the Elizabeth II 2-pence coins have long searched for these rare variations, and the 1996 issue has proven to be particularly fascinating. What makes the 1996 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin stand out so significantly is not merely the fact of its mintage, but the rarity of certain surviving specimens in pristine condition, as well as a small number of reported error coins that have driven collector interest to astonishing heights. Many of the coins struck in 1996 entered circulation immediately, exposed to the wear and tear of daily use. They clinked in pockets, slid across shop counters, and were exchanged countless times for sweets, bus fares, and everyday necessities. Finding one today in flawless, uncirculated condition is exceptionally difficult. Collectors value coins not only for their historical context but also for their condition, and the higher the grade, the more precious the coin becomes. A 1996 2-pence in mint state condition, free from scratches, discoloration, or wear, is a prize that few can claim to hold. There is also the matter of rarity created by errors. Among the most remarkable in the world of 2-pence coins are the instances where coins were mistakenly struck with the wrong metal compositions or designs intended for other denominations. While the 1996 issue is not as notorious as certain earlier years for widespread errors, there are whispers in the collecting community of off-metal strikes, where coins were accidentally minted on blanks intended for other coins. Such errors, while incredibly rare, elevate a humble 2 pence into the realm of the extraordinary. When one of these rare error coins surfaces, collectors compete fiercely, driving values to heights that far exceed what anyone outside the hobby might believe possible for such a small coin. The appeal of the Elizabeth II 2 pence 1996 also lies in the nostalgia it evokes. For many in Britain, coins are not merely monetary instruments but also markers of memory. A 2 pence piece from 1996 may remind someone of their childhood, their first pocket money, or the everyday rhythms of life in the 1990s. As the nation has moved forward, with the design of the 2 pence coin itself later changing in 2008 to form part of the Royal Shield design, these earlier coins have become artifacts of a previous era. They remind collectors and casual observers alike of a time before the turn of the millennium, before digital payments began to reduce the circulation of small change, and before the changes to coin designs that would redefine the look of British currency. Collectors worldwide have taken an interest in British coinage, not only because of the artistry and history involved but also because of the enduring global fascination with Queen Elizabeth II. Coins bearing her portrait are collected in virtually every country, and the 2 pence coins, despite their modest face value, have become a cornerstone for those seeking to build complete sets of British decimal coinage. The 1996 issue, in particular, has risen in prominence as its scarcity in high grade and its growing reputation have made it a coveted item. Auction houses have reported spirited bidding for pristine examples, and private sales often reach figures that astonish those outside the numismatic world. It is also worth considering the psychological appeal of coins like the 1996 2 pence. To hold in one's hand a small piece of bronze that once could buy so little, yet is now worth so much, is to experience the alchemy of collecting. What was once ordinary has become extraordinary, transformed by time, rarity, and human desire. This transformation is at the heart of numismatics. Coins are not static. Their value evolves with history, with the stories told about them, and with the passion of those who seek them. The Elizabeth II 2 pence 1996 is a perfect example of this transformation, a coin that has transcended its origins to become a rare and valuable treasure. For the dedicated collector, the journey to acquire such a coin is part of the thrill. Hours are spent poring over dealer inventories, scouring online marketplaces, and attending auctions in search of the elusive perfect specimen. Each coin examined tells its own story, where it has been, how it has survived, and what makes it unique. And when at last the collector holds in their hand a flawless 1996 2 pence, the sense of accomplishment and pride is immeasurable. It is not merely a coin, it is a piece of history, a symbol of perseverance, and for some, a tangible link to their own personal past. As time passes, coins like the Elizabeth II 2 pence 1996 will only grow rarer and more valuable. Already, the market for such coins has shown steady increases in value, with high-grade examples fetching extraordinary sums. This is not just about money, it is about recognition of the cultural and historical significance of these coins. They are artifacts of a nation, emblems of a monarchy, and works of art in miniature. And while millions may have been minted, only a select few survive in the kind of condition that commands the attention of serious collectors. Today, the Elizabeth II 2 pence 1996 has reached an almost mythical status among certain collectors. What once jingled unnoticed in pockets now sits in protective cases, guarded carefully and admired for its beauty and rarity. Auctioneers speak of it with reverence, and private collectors boast of their specimens as centerpieces of their collections. The coin has made the leap from the mundane to the magnificent, from everyday change to extraordinary treasure. Top 3. The United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 2 pence from 2008 stands out as an exceptional example. A coin that was supposed to be just another piece of everyday change suddenly became an object of intrigue, fascination, and eventually extreme value. It is a story where design meets history, where errors and rarity converge, and where collectors find themselves in pursuit of a small copper-plated disc worth millions. To truly understand the story of the 2008 Elizabeth II 2 pence, one must first journey back to the roots of the British decimal coinage system. In 1971, Britain said farewell to the centuries-old system of pounds, shillings, and pence, and adopted a simpler decimal structure. Among the first batch of coins minted was the humble 2p, a coin that might not have carried much value monetarily, but played a vital role in commerce. The original design bore the familiar crown plume of ostrich feathers, tied with a coronet, and the words, "New Pence." For over a decade, this design remained unchanged. When placed together, the reverses of the 1 penny through 50p coins would form a complete image of the royal arms, Britain's centuries-old symbol of sovereignty. Each denomination was assigned a segment of the shield, making the coins not only functional but artistic in a collective sense. The 2p was given the lower left section of the shield, featuring part of the historic lion rampart and heraldic cross. It was an inspired design choice, modern yet deeply tied to Britain's traditions. However, as is often the case with coinage, moments of transition invite mishaps. During 2008, a small but highly significant number of 2p coins were struck not with the new 2p reverse but mistakenly with the old new pence design. This error immediately caught the attention of collectors. After all, by 2008 the new pence inscription had not been seen on regular issues for over 2 decades. To have such a clash of old and new in the same year created a striking anomaly. Imagine the scene: a pocket full of coins jangling as someone pays for a bus ticket or buys a loaf of bread, and unknowingly within those coppers sits a coin worth a fortune. It is this accidental blending of history and oversight that sparks the imagination of collectors worldwide. The era gave birth to one of the most sought-after coins in modern British history. The obverse of the 2008 2p carried the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, the fourth definitive portrait sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley. In this depiction, the Queen wears the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a gift she received as a wedding present in 1947. This portrait had been introduced in 1998 and remained in use until 2015, capturing the Queen with a regal but approachable dignity. Around the edge, the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, could be read, meaning, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. On the surface, this was a coin identical to millions of others. Yet the reverse side told a different story depending on which variety one held. For the standard 2008 issue, collectors could admire the Royal Arms segment, crisply detailed thanks to modern minting technology. But for those fortunate enough to encounter the error issue, the old, new pence design appeared, a ghost from the past re-emerging decades later. Such a discovery was nothing short of extraordinary. The process of minting itself adds to the intrigue. Coins are produced in vast quantities, with dies carefully engraved to ensure consistency. Yet in moments of human oversight, old dies can be mistakenly reused, or transitional batches struck before equipment is updated. These are the moments when error coins slip into circulation, unknown to both the mint workers and the general public. In 2008, it appears that some dies bearing the new pence inscription were inadvertently used, resulting in a limited number of error strikes. While the Royal Mint has never released official figures on how many were produced, the scarcity of surviving examples suggests only a handful exist. Collectors immediately recognized the potential. Coin enthusiasts scoured their change, examined rolls from banks, and sifted through piles of copper coins in hopes of stumbling upon the elusive 2008 new pence, 2p. The thrill of the hunt was intoxicating. Media outlets soon picked up the story, reporting that these coins were trading hands for far more than their face value. What began as an everyday copper coin had, almost overnight, become a national obsession. The collector's market thrives on stories like this. Rarity is one factor, but narrative is just as powerful. A coin with a story that connects to both history and human error becomes irresistible. The 2008 2p combined both. It linked back to Britain's decimalization era while embodying the creativity of the 2008 Royal Arms redesign, and it did so through the lens of a mistake that turned an ordinary coin into an extraordinary collectible. Over the years, the legend of this coin has only grown. Auctions featuring one of these error coins sparked bidding wars, as collectors from across the globe vied to own a piece of numismatic history. Prices soared, with early sales reaching into the thousands of pounds, and as the years passed, those numbers only increased. It is the classic tale of supply and demand. The coin's extreme scarcity ensures that demand far outweighs availability, pushing values higher and higher. Beyond its market value, the coin holds symbolic weight. It reminds us that even in highly controlled and mechanized systems, mistakes happen. And sometimes, those mistakes create treasures. It also serves as a reminder of Queen Elizabeth II's long reign, a period during which British coinage underwent numerous transformations. From the youthful portrait of the Queen in the 1950s to the mature image of the 2000s, her likeness became an enduring presence in everyday life. The 2008 2p, whether in its standard form or error issue, is a snapshot of that legacy. Collectors who are lucky enough to hold one of these error coins often treat it not just as an investment but as a story worth preserving. The coin becomes a conversation piece, a tangible connection to history, and a potential key to unlocking incredible financial returns. Stories abound of individuals who discovered such coins in change drawers, piggy banks, or among inherited collections, only to later learn they were in possession of a numismatic treasure. In the broader world of coin collecting, the 2008 2p sits comfortably among other famous era coins such as the American 1955 double-die cent or the Canadian 1921 50-cent piece. Each of these coins achieved legendary status not just for their rarity, but for the stories that surround them. The United Kingdom's contribution to this canon is the humble copper 2p, elevated to greatness through an oversight that ensured its immortality. As with all rare coins, condition plays a vital role in value. Collectors prize examples that remain in uncirculated or near uncirculated condition. Given that the coin was intended for everyday use, many surviving specimens show signs of wear. However, those that escape circulation and retain their original luster are particularly valuable. The presence of a sharp strike, minimal scratches, and original mint brilliance can mean the difference between a coin worth thousands and one worth millions. The mystique of the coin also lies in its dual nature. On one hand, the standard 2008 issue represents a modern triumph in coin design, part of a larger series that captured the royal arms in an innovative way. On the other, the error issue represents the unpredictable charm of minting mishaps. Together, they embody two sides of numismatics: deliberate artistry and accidental rarity. For HD ultra-rare coins, bringing this story to light is more than just an exploration of value. It is a celebration of history, design, and the human fascination with rarity. Every collector dreams of discovering that one coin which sets their collection apart, and the 2008 2p fulfills that dream in spectacular fashion. And now we come to the most captivating part of the story: the value. For a coin that was meant to be nothing more than spare change rattling in someone's pocket, its journey into the realm of high-value collectibles is astonishing. The rare 2008 new Pence error issue has achieved valuations that defy belief. It is proof that even the smallest coins can carry the greatest stories, and that history has a way of rewarding those who pay attention to the details. So the next time you encounter a 2p coin, pause for a moment and take a closer look. Hidden in plain sight may be one of the most extraordinary treasures of the numismatic world, a coin that connects history, art, and chance in a single copper-plated piece. And who knows? Perhaps in